Okay, welcome to Chapter 8 review. This will be just a quick review on some of the highlights in Chapter 8. And it's really about what happens and the impact of taxes on consumer and producer surplus. Okay, so here, again, if there's a tax, and Mankiw does it differently just to make it a little easier to view. He doesn't shift the supply curve here, he just puts the tax, but if you think of the supply curve shifting left because of rat nests and a tax shift, you could just see it here. Now, the tax wedge between these two will give you the price exactly of the tax. Now, if you're trying to find out the incidence again, you take the equilibrium at P1, and you see the difference here, and that tells you how much the consumer pays. And then P1 is what the producers used to get, and now the producers get PS. Okay? Now, you used to have consumer surplus A, B, and C before the tax, and D, E, and F before the tax. Now, with the tax, price goes up, and again, above the price, below the demand, there is your consumer surplus right here. Now, your producer surplus, which is below the price that producers get, which is now PS, is in the F. And B and D represents the tax revenue to government. And here is your deadweight loss, C and E. So, you gotta remember, total surplus is consumer surplus, producer surplus, plus tax revenue. And the deadweight loss, where we used to produce at Q1, now we're producing at Q2. This is what's lost into the economy. Okay. So again, there's the size of the tax. And again, consumer surplus, deadweight loss. Okay? And this is cost to the sellers. Here's where sellers used to be getting producer surplus. Here's where consumers used to be getting consumer surplus. And now both of them are cut out of the trade due to the increased price put on tax. Okay. Now, who's going to pay the tax? And tax incidence is a base about inelasticity or elastic. Notice if supply is inelastic, they will pay a bigger portion of the tax. Okay? When there's an elastic, there'll be a greater deadweight loss. Okay. The deadweight loss to taxation. How do taxes affect the equal well-being of market participants? It does not matter whether tax is good or levied on buyers or seller. The price paid by the buyer rises and the price received by the seller falls. Okay. Now, here you have an inelastic demand. Okay, notice in an inelastic demand, you're going to, because when it's inelastic, quantity demanded and quantity supply changes very little, you have a small deadweight loss. But here, in an elastic demand, you're going to have a bigger deadweight loss. Okay, that wraps up Chapter 8. It's basically about taxation and its effect on consumer and producer surplus.